finish this last level here, but using all my tips and tricks that I showed you earlier, I managed to get myself to the final map and the final level, which is kind of wild. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Pet Sim 99 video. Today we have the tower defense update, and honestly there is a lot in this update. It's a little bit confusing and there's a lot that you really have to focus on and think about. So I'm going to go over basically everything you need to know about this update, as well as just like some overall general strategies when it comes to playing the tower defense update, etc. So if you enjoy this video or find it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget that once we reach 45,000 subscribers, we'll be hosting a massive 50+ rainbow huge pet giveaway on Pet Sim 99. Until then, I'll continue to give away at least 10 rainbow huge pets every single video, and if you want a chance to win one of those huge pets, all of the giveaway information will be in the description. I'm thinking of doing a gift opening video, so let me know down in the comments how many gifts you think I should open. Last time I opened 25,000 gifts. I'm thinking of upping it this time. Maybe we'll do 50,000, maybe we'll do 100,000. Let me know down in the comments how many you think I should open. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Okay, so before we go ahead and talk about the strategies, all the tips and tricks, let's go over everything they added in this update. So obviously we have the new tower defense world. Go through the portal in the main game or click the button on your screen in the main game. Both ways will get you to this world. And inside this world, you'll notice a few different things. We have a new index machine, which displays every single tower that you can use in this tower defense game. Each one has their own ability. We'll go over all these in a little bit. We also have a new currency called rubies. You'll see it on the bottom left here. These are actually pretty tough to get, but you use them to open the new egg here, which will allow you to get all of these different kind of towers. Obviously the exclusive ones you are not able to get, but you can get every single other one that is here just from hatching this egg. Although by looking at the leaked odds for this egg, it does seem incredibly tough to get some of these units. So you could go ahead and try to hatch yourself some using the rubies, which you can only get from completing tower defense levels or doing the infinity run, or from taking advantage of the AFK rewards. You can sit here in AFK rubies. Every few minutes you'll sit here and earn rubies. The amount of rubies you earn does depend on if you are an MVP and a premium player, and I'm not sure if it's affected by what world you're in, but I highly doubt it. But every 5 minutes or so you will earn some rubies just by sitting in this circle, which is pretty cool. Now we also have a fuse station over here where you can fuse different units and basically use their duplicates to give them more XP. Honestly, in my opinion, it just gives very little XP, and currently these units are worth quite a bit, so I'll just go ahead and sell any duplicates that you get instead of fusing them. And then when you actually want to level up your units and increase all of its staff, I would instead suggest using some of the new upgrade tokens. You can get a unit XP token 1 and a unit XP token 2 simply just from completing missions in the campaign or from playing the infinity mode. With that being said, you can also get a new gift from the infinity mode called the tower defense gift. It has a new huge pet in it, which looks pretty cool, and we do have a new clan battle going on. This clan battle is a little tough and a little pay to win, so my clan personally is probably not going to be playing a part in this clan battle, but by competing in this clan battle you would also have a chance of getting the new nightmare cyclops. Besides that, we have a new huge ninja dalmatian, which you can get as a drop in the infinite mode, as well as a titanic nuclear dominus that you can also get from the infinite mode, and we'll talk about how you can earn these rewards in a few seconds here. But believe it or not, that's really all of the huges and titanics that they added for this event itself. However, if we look in the exclusive shop, we have a refreshed forever pack with some of the new tower defense items. We do have a new huge and titanic for the dark unit egg, which you can buy, and it does have some pretty good pets in it, although I would probably just wait until these drop in price or just buy them now because they are getting pretty cheap. They also added a titanic capybara, which you could buy for Robux. Once again, I'd wait until it just goes down in value and then buy it for diamonds. And they did add a totem egg with some new huges, a new titanic, and a new gargantuan. I really do like the theme of this egg, and it does look pretty cool. That's all the exclusive stuff. That's all the huges. That's all the titanics, and that is all of the basic stuff that they added in this update. But let's quickly talk about the tower defense itself. So for the tower defense, if you've never played a tower defense, it's basically a strategy game. I'll go over how you can basically play it in the general strategy in a little bit here, but you have two different options. You can play the infinite mode or you can play the campaign. If you do the campaign, you basically get a reward for completing each level, and then you have to complete all 6 levels in one world to advance to the next world, and the goal is to keep going until you make it to the final world and hopefully complete the final quest here. Now for these rewards, it does look like you would get a guaranteed pet, but the question marks actually do mean that it's a small chance at receiving this. So you're not going to receive a frostbite griffin every time you complete the level, nor are you going to receive a comet dragon every time you complete a level in the 4th world, or a huge safari monkey every time you complete a level in the 4th world. It's just a chance. So that's one way you can play the tower defense, but honestly, at a certain point, you will reach your stopping point where you're no longer able to progress in the campaign. And at that point, I would probably recommend the infinite mode. I'm in the infinite mode here, and as you'll see, basically, depending on what world you select the infinite mode in, it'll be a different looking world. All you're doing is defending until you can't defend any longer, and the game will end, and then you can restart it and do it over again. The best thing about this is that we do have more rewards, kind of like the basketball event. You earn points towards that specific huge pet, Titanic, or gift, and if you get 5 points before the game ends, before your castle falls, then you do actually earn that reward, and you earn the points by destroying electric chests, which will randomly appear as you are playing the infinity mode. What's awesome about this mode is that you also do earn quite a bit of rubies and XP tokens as you are going, which is pretty cool. Just like every single tips and tricks video, I first want to start with talking about all the boosts, enchants, and pets that you can be using to help you during this event. And believe it or not, we don't need anything for this event at all. Literally nothing helps you during this event. Not even lucky eggs or rainbow eggs or charged eggs, etc. The odds of the egg is fixed, and although it says that the lucky boosts are active down here, they actually aren't working, and you can't use any potions, you can't use anything else, nothing else will show up either. So yeah, it's honestly pretty insane that literally no enchants, no potions or boosts, and none of your pets are actually going to be helping you during this event, which is kind of wild. Now, I honestly wasn't sure whether I wanted to talk about the units first or talk about the actual general strategy for the tower defense, but I think talking about the units is going to be more useful. So as you're playing, the units play a vital role in actually helping you defend your tower. Each one has its own ability, it has its own damage, it has its own speed, it has its own range, and it has its own DPS. You can generally base how good a unit is off of its DPS. However, that's not the only indicator, because some units have abilities that don't just relate around damage. So for example, something like the Frostbite Griffin is going to be one of the best pets in the game, just because it significantly slows down all of the breakables that are moving along during the tower defense, allowing the breakables and other stuff moving along the conveyor to actually stay near your units for much longer and hopefully get destroyed much easier. As well as something like the Electric Eel also has a chance to stun the collectibles, making them stop basically in their tracks, also allowing your other units to deal more damage, which is pretty good. And then there's some pets that damage one collectible at a time, as well as other pets that damage collectibles over time, and other pets that damage multiple collectibles at a time. So there's a ton of units and a ton of different kinds of units. So balancing out the different kind of units that you have inside of your loadout is going to be crucial. At first, you're only going to be able to hold 3 units at a time, but once you complete the second map, you'll unlock another unit slot. It's a little bugged for me, but you will see that I do have a kitsune in this next slot here. And then if I complete map 3, I'll unlock another slot, and that will allow you to have much more versatility within your loadout, but you want to have an equal balance between all 3 of those kinds of units. Now, like I said earlier, you can level up your units by combining them, or you can go to your inventory and use the XP tokens that you get from completing tower defenses, which is honestly a much better way. And leveling up your units is going to be super important. You want to really focus it on the units that you're going to be using. Now, the range is also something you want to keep an eye on when you are placing down the units. You want to make sure that you're placing down units with a lower range, closer to all of the conveyor belts and closer to all of the breakables, and then you are positioning units with a longer range behind those other units, since they will be able to shoot at a much farther distance and hopefully reach other conveyor belts. So there's a lot of strategy to this game, and depending on the units that you have unlocked, you're going to have to decide specifically which ones you want to use. But let's go over a general strategy while you're in the tower defense on what you should be doing. So I'm going to use the Twisted Beach to demonstrate what you should be doing, just because this map is actually kind of complicated. So specifically for this map, there are 2 gates, and there's a bunch of different paths that the collectibles are going to take as they are coming down. Now, for a general team with only 3 slots, you are really going to need a Frostbite Griffin. This is going to make it so much easier to actually complete the rounds and break the breakables. Without something that slows down all the breakables, it's going to be a lot tougher. It's not mandatory, but I would definitely recommend to have at least one thing that's going to slow down the breakables. Either Frostbite Griffin or the Electric Eel will work. And then because your breakables are going to be slowing down, they're going to be all together, meaning you want something that's going to affect all of them at once. So then I would be using something that does AoE damage. In my opinion, the Dynamite Panda is actually not a bad option if you do not have anything better than that. But personally, I'm going to be using a TNT Capybara, but the Dynamite Panda has gotten me through a ton of worlds by itself just because of its AoE damage. And then you want to use something that focuses specifically on damage. So honestly, for early game, something like a Safari Monkey is not a bad option. I used the Safari Monkey for a really long time because once you level it up, it actually does pretty good damage, and you need something early on that you can spam a ton of to actually break the early on breakables. So something that slows down breakables, something that does AoE damage or has like an explosion that affects a large group of breakables, and then something not very expensive that is able to do a little bit of damage. So you can even go ahead and use a Ninja Dalmatian or maybe even a Cyborg Kitsune. Honestly, the Flamethrower Spider is not great in my opinion. And you might not have this exact loadout. Honestly, I'm going to swap out the TNT Capybara for the Dynamite Panda just to make it a little similar to what you might have. But eventually, once you get a Frostbite Griffin, it is going to be a lot easier, and the price of them is dropping super fast, so you should be able to buy one pretty soon and use that. Now, before I go ahead and start this round, once you unlock more slots, then I would start filling it up with whatever you think you need. So depending on the world, sometimes the conveyor belts are super duper fast, so you might need like some more eels to help slow down the breakables, or you might be struggling with damage and struggling to destroy them in time, so you might need something else that does AoE damage. So it really is up to you. But your starting build should be something that slows down breakables, something that affects a ton of breakables at a time, and something that just does a pretty good damage with a low coin price. Now, generally, tower defense is a learning experience, so you might struggle the first few times, but once you are ready to start, you go ahead and click start round, and you want to immediately place down those low value damage pets that you have. So I'm going to place down my Safari Monkeys. I'm not sure if I got them down in time. There we go. Once we start earning more coins here, then I'm going to start placing down these pets that slow down the breakables. So we're going to be using our Griffins here, and you don't need to spam down all the units at once. So our Griffins are down. It looks like we're doing pretty good for World 2 level 6. This is actually not too bad. At this point, I'll start placing down a couple of things that are going to affect a ton of breakables at once. So those AoE pets here. And as you'll see, I'm kind of placing them in points where they're going to affect multiple conveyor belts, and they're going to be able to shoot breakables no matter where they are. But you do want to keep in mind, pets with lower range, you want to keep closer to the breakables, specifically the ones that are going to be freezing. You want to keep them pretty close to the conveyor belts because they don't have incredibly good range. At this point, I'm going to start upgrading some of our monkeys to max level. It only costs about 1,000 to go from 0 to max. As you'll see, the slowing down of the breakables significantly allows the pets to actually destroy the breakables a lot easier. Now, honestly, for the slowing down pets, you can also place a few at the very start of the gate, which I honestly should be doing here just to help slow them down a little bit more. As you can see, it slows it down right out the gate, allowing it so much time there to actually get destroyed. You do not have to spam down all your units. At a certain point, just start upgrading, and that is going to be a lot more useful than just spamming down a ton of units at once. Yeah, and honestly, they weren't even close to making it out of all of my pets here. So yeah, there we go. Basically, we just beat map 2 right there just from using these pets alone. Now, I should also mention that as you're doing your runs, there is also a speed function. Now, it speeds up the speed of the breakables moving along, and it also seems to speed up the speed of the units themselves. But from my experience, when I keep it on 2x speed, a lot more coins do slip through. So I would say only use 2x as long as you're doing enough damage to basically insta-break the coins. And if you are struggling to insta-break the coins, then be a little more careful with using 2x speed. You should be good as long as the coins aren't making it too far out. But I do find that sometimes coins do slip through when I'm on 2x speed, probably just because of lag or server latency. So that is definitely a tool that you can use and is pretty useful to help you be a little more efficient. So honestly, once again, it is all trial and error. You're going to learn as you're going, but that's the general team you should be using, as well as your general strategy as you are playing the tower defense. I do just want to quickly mention some of these units are really deceptively bad. The Zeus Bear in particular, I hatched this super early on and sold it for 6.5 billion diamonds because this is absolutely useless. Although it says it does 1.5 thousand damage, it's in a cloud of electricity, and the electricity rarely ever actually hits the collectibles. I'm not sure if they actually fixed this by now, but when I had it, it was really bad. So you'll definitely have to test out which ones work specifically for the team that you have. But in my opinion, honestly, most of these exclusive ones are not really worth it, especially for the price. The only one that might be worth it is going to be the capybara because of how cheap it is for the coins. Before I continue, I do want to quickly check my mailbox. If you want to donate to me using the mailbox, my username is loopedmuffin_RBX. I tend to only shout out anything over 5 million diamonds in wrap or any exclusive pets just to save time in the videos. Thank you very much, Brayden, for the 5 million diamonds. Thank you, Help638, for the blazing corgi, the classic dog, the blazing shark, the golden huge skateboard bulldog, the huge Valentine axolotl, and the huge rogue squid. Thank you so much. Sorry, I do not accept friend requests. Thank you, James, for the rainbow patchwork yeti. Thank you, ROBLOX Granu, for the huge nuclear wild dog and the basketball frenzy orb. Thank you, Avo, for the 5 million diamonds. Thank you, Honeydew Honey C, for the huge basket bunny. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manuel G 10,000, for the huge mining monkey. Thank you, Young Sheldon, for the huge pixel otter. Thank you, Dude You're Good, for the huge minecart hamster. Thank you, Stazzer 730, for the golden huge snowflake angelus. Thank you, Funky Little Monkey, for the golden huge party crown corgi. Thank you so much. That is incredibly generous. Thank you. Thank you, HNVJ, for the huge disco ball dragon with a royalty charm. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pingu, for the damage potion Evans. Thank you, Cosmic Eternity, for the 11 million diamonds. Thank you. Thank you, 998 Speedy, for the 50 million diamonds. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you to everyone else who sent me mail. I really do appreciate it. And all of it does go straight back into giveaways for you guys. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use my own tips and tricks and see how much further I can progress in this game. Hopefully I can beat all the worlds. I went ahead and made a pretty decent team. I balanced out the amount of cost as well as the abilities. So we have something that freezes, 2 pets that do AoE damage, and then something that just does some pretty good damage on its own, which is obviously 10,000. So that's going to be pretty expensive. But let's see how many levels I can actually go ahead and complete. All right, so after a few hours, I managed to make it to the final map and the final level. Now, this level is like super hard. I honestly don't even know if it's possible right now until I level up some of my unit, though I have not unlocked the infinite mode for the Heaven Spiral, but that is pretty cool in my opinion. I'm definitely going to be spending a lot more time trying to finish this last level here, but using all my tips and tricks that I showed you earlier, I managed to get myself to the final map and the final level, which is kind of wild. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to AFKing this event, there aren't really many options. I will probably be just taking advantage of the AFK rewards area here just to grind a bunch of rubies while I'm AFK. But I think there might be a way to macro the infinite mode, but because the infinite mode goes on for like 30 to 40 minutes at a time, it's just really tough to get down without having any errors or any inconsistencies between the macros. So I think for now, I'm going to be AFKing the rewards. If I do discover a way to actually AFK the infinite mode, which is really the only other way of making profit for this event, I will let you guys know and I will be making a video on that. But for now, I think the best option is just going to be AFKing the rewards and opening the egg. Speaking of opening the egg, I have over 2.74 thousand rubies right now. So I want to go ahead and open the egg and see if I get lucky, because some of these pets do sell for quite a bit right now. And that's a good amount of profit if I am able to hatch something like the rich corgi. Keep in mind, the odds of these pets are incredibly bad. And for some reason, like a legendary is a lot rarer than a mythical arcade angelus. So the rarity doesn't even matter. It's more so just the pet itself. So hopefully I can get a decent pet to sell, but let's go ahead and open some eggs and see. We did just get a frostbite griffin, not bad, and a flamethrower fighter. Okay, a shadow pegasus, that gotta be rare, right? That's not bad. 12 million. And then how much is the frostbite going for? 25 million. So that's not bad. That's already a couple million profit if I go ahead and sell those. Yeah, so honestly, nothing too great. I got a shadow pegasus and a griffin, and that was really the extent of what I managed to get. So with that being said, what are my thoughts on this update? I do think this update was really cool, but it doesn't really provide much replayability. If I'm playing the infinite mode by myself, it takes like 40 minutes around, and you maybe get 1 or 2 tower gifts if you're lucky, and that's it for 40 minutes of playing. And then if you AFK the rubies, which is probably what I'm going to be doing, you maybe get to open like 100 eggs, and odds are you won't get anything good. And odds are these pets are not going to be worth much after a day. So I really don't think there's much profit making opportunities for this event. So unless you really love tower defense games, it's not really going to be the best event for you, and you might want to stick to the fantasy world or trading for this week. Well, with that being said, I will go ahead and try to find any diamond making method that is possible this week, and I will make a video on that. And then I'm also going to be, like I said, opening some gifts later on, probably tomorrow or the next day. So let me know how many gifts you want me to open. But with that all being said, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, those 45,000 subscribers will be staying a massive 50+ rainbow huge pet giveaway on Pet Sim 99. But with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day and good luck grinding. Congratulations to this user for being the first person to comment on my last Pet Sim 99 video with the Roblox username. You've won yourself a free rainbow huge pet. I do this kind of giveaways every single video, so if you want a chance to win yourself a free rainbow huge pet and be the first commenter, make sure to turn on post notifications to be notified when I upload. It's time to roll the winners of the giveaway for my last Pet Sim 99 video. Since this video did not reach any of its like goals, I will only be doing a giveaway of 10 rainbow huge pets. As always, the usernames of the winners will be shown on screen at the end of this time lapse. Congratulations to all of the winners.